Hello and welcome, dear students. How are you all? I welcome you to the class of biology. Dear students, please report your attendance. I would ask you all to report your attendance. So centers, please do that quickly and we'll begin right away. Okay, so I will be starting because I believe there are some internet connectivity issues as well. So the centers which will come as soon as they come online, they will report their attendance. Okay. So let me start with where I left in the last class. I was discussing about the modifications of root. Okay. So we have discussed some of the modifications of root in the last class. So let us take a quick look at those modifications. First of all, what was root? I told you that root is a positively geotropic, negatively phototropic, positively hydrotropic system. And root is basically of three types. You can say that when you talk about root, it can be tap root, fibrous root, adventitious root. These are the types of root that is present there. And continuing, tap root is the basically part of the root which is basically developing from a radicle, and it's characteristic of dicot plants. Tap root is such type of root, okay, and then it has a long, thin, cylindrical, tapering down structure. Fibrous root system originates from the base of the plants, but it is not the radicle. Okay, it's not the radicle; it's something else. Also, adventitious root is the third type of root system, and this type of root develops from the nodes of the root, nodes of the stem. Okay, and that it does not develop from the radicle; it develops from something else. Okay, any other part except the radicle, that is basically referred to as adventitious root. Okay. Functions of the root. When we talk about functions of the root, it is includes absorption of water, minerals from the soil, providing proper anchorage to the plant parts, storing reserve food, and synthesis of plant growth regulators. I told you that auxin is synthesized, right? Auxin is synthesized by the root. Regions of the root. When we talk about the regions of the root, they are basically region of maturation, root hair zone, region of elongation, okay, root elongation zone, root elongation zone, root elongation zone, root apical meristem zone. Root cap is a thimble shaped structure, okay, and it protects a slender root apical meristem. Root apical meristem, you know, the meristematic part. The region of elongation, it is formed by cell division, and region of elongation has been formed by cell division, but these cells undergo rapid changes in the root length. Maturation zone, root hair zone. This zone contains root hair. After that, we talked about modifications of the root. So the modifications of root, we were talking about modifications for support, modifications for breathing, modifications for storage. For support, I told you that it is the case of prop root in banyan tree. So in banyan tree, what happens? We have roots coming out from the branches, and these are called the prop roots. So the prop root goes downwards, it firmly attaches to the soil and helps in supporting the weight of the large branches, because banyan tree spreads in a very, very large area. I hope you remember that. Breathing modification, I told you that when you talk about breathing modification, example is mangrove. Mangrove trees have basically their roots permanently submerged underwater. You can see in this diagram. And because of this, their roots cannot breathe. So the roots have to develop some structure so that they come out from the soil, and these coming out from the soil, it has porous structures there. Air pores are there. These pores are called pneumatothores. Pneumatothores are very important for NEET examination. It is asked in your NEET examination. What is pneumatothore? It is the pore which allows air to pass inside. And nematode, and the other thing is nematophore. Nematophore is the breathing root. Nematode is the pore inside the roots. All right. So this is about the breathing roots. Also, now what we can say about the nematodes, you can continue here. Nematophores emerge out from underwater and have numerous air pores called nematodes, which help the plants to breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Allow the plants to breathe underwater. And because of this network, because of this arrangement, these plants can survive in very thickly waterlogged soil. Because of this arrangement, mangroves thrive. Thrive means to grow with great pleasure. They grow without any difficulty. Thrive in permanently waterlogged soil where other plants cannot survive. In permanently waterlogged soil. Without any difficulty, where other plants cannot survive. Mangrove grows very clearly without any problems. Next, let's come to the third part. For breathing is done. So the third adaptation is for storage. For storage. So the root, if it is a tap root, it is modified into something else. If it is adventitious root, it is modified into something else. Tap root can be modified for storage in various ways, and shape. They can be very different shapes of the root. So modification of tap root, you have to study like this. 3 modifications I am telling you. 3 modifications of tap root I am telling you. What are these modifications? This everybody knows, I guess. This everybody knows. So this is the, I'm talking about the carrots. Okay. Now then, there is another type of modification. Let us see if you can recognize this. Let us see if you can basically recognize this. Yeah, it is a bit difficult to draw it on this page. So let me draw it like this. It is white in color. Then there is another modification. I guess you can recognize this one also. Like this. So there are three modifications we are talking about here. This is the conical modification, conical modified taproot, conical storage root. Conical modified taproot. This is example is Docus carota. Carrot. Conical modified storage taproot found in carrot. Conical storage taproot found in carrot. And can you recognize this color? Can you recognize this color? Can you recognize this color and this shape? It is called napiform root. This color, this shape, white color, radish, Raphanus sativus. This is the fusiform root, conical root, fusiform root, napiform root. Okay, I think nobody is online right now. I wanted to ask you people some things. I guess nobody is online today. Nobody is online right now. Okay. All right. So you can ask me the questions later on whenever you get back. I guess there is a connectivity issue. Yeah. because of the Citizenship Amendment Bill and few reasons. I think you are having a lot of problems on your end. But I understand. We'll continue this whenever we get time. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. This is the fusiform root. Give me a second. This is the fusiform root, fusiform storage taproot. It is found in radish. The botanical name of radish is Raphanus sativus. Raphanus sativus. Okay. Then there is another root called the napiform root. Napiform root. Napiform root. Napiform root is seen in the case of, yes, turnip. Turnip is the example. Of napiform root. Turnip is the example of napiform root. So what is the botanical name of turnip? Brassica rapa. Brassica rapa. Variety rapa. So this is done now. Conical root, napiform root, and fusiform root. These were modified taproots. Modified storage taproots. I'll write this here. Modified storage taproots. Conical, napiform, fusiform. Conical, napiform, fusiform root. Okay. Napiform root you can also see in chucandar when we talk about that, basically beetroot, Beta vulgaris. Then there is modified storage adventitious root. Modified storage adventitious root. Adventitious root. The example of this root is, everybody has eaten shakarkand, swollen storage adventitious root, Ipomia batata. Example, Ipomia batata, sweet potato. In Hindi you call it shakarkand. sweet potato. Okay. So this is all about root that we had to learn. Let us now move on to the stem part. Let us now move on to the stem part. So what is stem? For the students that are not here, I will send these notes on your WhatsApp groups. Stem. So what is the particular feature of stem? How do you define a stem? When I talk about stem, you should define stem as a positively phototropic, negatively geotropic part of the plant which bears nodes and internodes. Why do I say node and internode? Because node and internode are absent in root. So there is a clear-cut difference between root and shoot. You can say stem is the positively phototropic negatively geotropic part of the plant which bears nodes and internodes. Which bears nodes and internodes. So basically, having nodes and internodes is what distinguishes clear cut between stem and root. You can say nodes and internodes are absent in the root. Nodes and internodes are absent in the root and present in the stem. Suppose I give you an unknown plant part and I say, please identify it. So if you find buds in it, if you find nodes in it, if you find internodes in it, it is definitely a part of stem, part of shoot, not of the root. Root does not bear these kind of things. Okay. Not only nodes and internodes, buds are also absent in the root. Node, internode, buds present in the stem. What does stem do? Stem bears the lateral organs. It bears the leaves, it bears the branches, it bears the flowers, like this. Stem bears the plant organs, gives support and bears them, bears the plant organs, such as, what are the plant organs that I am talking about? The plant organs are leaf, then when I talk about that, branches, flowers, etc. This is about stem. Now, stem regions, shoot apical meristem we are not going to cover. Instead of that, we are going to straight away study about the modifications of stem. Let us write about modifications of stem. Modifications of stem. Okay. So what are the stem modifications that we need to talk about, right? So the modifications of stem, they include a lot of structures. We'll talk about them. Let us talk about these modifications of stem. This modification has a different, let us say, pattern, like we classify it as underground, above the ground, or growing horizontal to the stem, growing horizontal to the ground, sorry. All these things, that is what we are going to do here. Can you, before we start, can you recount to me any modifications of stem? Yeah, okay, I understand it's a bit awkward, yeah. Nobody is online. Alright, so let me tell you by myself. Potato is a stem modification. Colocasia, it is a stem modification. There are many other edible, worth eating, like vegetables, which are actually stem modifications. Okay, and these modifications are basically grouped on the basis of various categories and their various properties. So let us write down the modifications of stem. So the stem modifications we have to study, they are, let us write them down: underground, subaerial and aerial. Underground, subaerial and aerial. Underground, modifications, okay. Underground modifications are grouped into three categories further. Okay. Rhizome, bulb, corm, tuber. Rhizome, bulb, corm, and tuber. Example of rhizome is ginger. Example of bulb is onion. Another kind of bulb is garlic. You can also include garlic inside it. Garlic. Example of corm is colocasia. Colocasia, the guiya arbi that we eat. Colocasia. It's a botanical name, so I'm underlining it. Then you have tuber. Tuber, best example is potato. Potato. Then there are subaerial modifications. Subaerial modifications. Subaerial modifications include, there are a lot of modifications. Then there is runner, sucker, stolen, offset. So I will have some space constriction here. I'm just continuing it downwards. Okay. Runner, sucker, runner, sucker, then there is stolen, and then there is offset. Example of runner is cynodon, dactylon, doob ghas. Everybody remembers walking on the lawn, sitting on that soft grass. That is cynodon, dactylon. That is a runner. It runs from one point to the other. That is why we call it as a runner. Sucker. So sucker is a very good example in this season. Sucker, there is one plant, chrysanthemum. Guldaudi, you call it in Hindi. Right now, it is in flowering condition. Chrysanthemum, that is an example of sucker. Then mint or mentha piperita, pudina, that is also an example of this category. Chrysanthemum. Then there is another example, mint. Not mint. Example will be banana. Sucker is banana, not mint. It will be banana. Just write the botanical name of banana. It is Musa paradisiaca. Just write Musa. I'll explain. Stolen. Stolen is a different category. Stolen, it's a different category. In the plants which you can see by yourself, example of stolen would be jasmine. Jasmine is a very good example of this category. Jasmine. When we talk about offset, offset is a very common example asked. There is a water pest called Eichhornia crassipes. Jalkumbhi, you call it in Hindi. It spreads over the water surface, whole water surface. Starts from one point and it can cover the whole water surface in a very small amount of time. So that is water hyacinth or Jalkumbhi, terror of Bengal. Eichhornia. Okay. Then there is aerial modification. aerial modification. Aerial modification. So aerial modification means those modifications which are totally suspended in aerial condition. They're not touching the soil, they're not in contact with the soil, they're above the soil, clear cut. So tendril, one example. More examples, there are many examples of aerial modification. Tendril, thorn, cladode, phylloclad, phylload, and then there will be, just let us write them down. Tendril, thorn, bulbil is also going to be an example of this condition. Cladode, phylloclad, and bulbil. Phylloclad, bulbil. Tendril example is passiflora, passion flower. Example of thorn comes in a lot of categories. Aigil marmelos, belpatra you might have known. So that comes under this category. Another good example will be citrus. Yeah, okay, I was writing it. Citrus and Aigil marmelos is belpatra. Citrus, let us take any example. Citrus aurantia, orange. Citrus of Mosambi variety, citrus of Kinno variety, citrus of lemon variety. All the citrus, they have thorns. It's a modified axillary bud. Cladode of asparagus. Cladode of asparagus. Yeah, asparagus should be fine. Asparagus. Phylloclad. What is the example of phylloclad? Opuntia. Opuntia everybody knows. Cactus. Bulbil. Very, very good example is Agave americana or any agave variety. I kind of feel that you people are not able to interact with me today. But let's make up for this lack of interaction in the next class, okay? Let us make up for this lack of interaction in the next class. We'll talk a lot. Let's hope all the issues are resolved by then. Okay. So first of all, we have to do the underground modifications. Let us do the underground modifications. Please put the heading, underground modifications. So what are the underground modifications? They are just studied. Underground modifications refer to the structures formed by the stem present below the soil surface. So whatever you find here, all these structures will be present below the soil surface, completely below the soil. So these are basically the modified stem structures. found below the soil surface. Modified stem structures found below the soil surface. So first of all, we have to take out the first modification, rhizome. So what is rhizome? You call it as fleshy non-green underground stem. Fleshy non-green underground stem. It is a fleshy non-green underground stem. Fleshy non-green underground stem. Underground stem. It has distinct nodes and internodes. It has distinct nodes and internodes. Okay. Now there is a question I asked in board examinations, so just listen to it. How will you identify that there is a stem-like modification, and how will you confirm the presence of buds in the rhizome? How will you know if it is a bud? Like there are buds in the rhizome. If you see ginger rhizome, you can see the buds are there, right? So how will you confirm that this is a stem just by looking at it? So we find nodes and internodes there, but that is not all. Scaly leaves are present on the surface of the ginger, and these scaly leaves identify that this is a leaf. If there is a leaf, there must be a bud, and buds are found in the axil. Buds are found in the axil of the leaf. So it is confirmatory proved. With confirmation, it is proved that this is a stem and nothing else. I'll just write it in a form of a simple statement. How will confirm that it is a shoot and not a root? Because it is underground, people can mistake it for root. How will you confirm it? You can say the nodes bear dry scaly leaves. Dry scaly leaves. Dry scaly leaves with axillary buds. With axillary buds. With axillary buds. Adventitious roots arise from the lower side. Okay. Example, ginger. The botanical name of ginger is Zingiber officinale. Zingiber officinale. Then there is turmeric. Botanical name of turmeric is curcuma. Curcuma longa. Canna is also a rhizome. Alocasia, Dryopteris, banana. There are lots of rhizomes. Actually, banana also shows presence of rhizome. But let it be. Two examples at least I expect you to remember very well. Then there is bulb. Bulb. Bulb represents a very much reduced stem. Bulb is a very reduced, highly reduced stem. Highly condensed, disc-like stem having a terminal bud on upper surface, terminal bud on upper surface, terminal bud on upper surface, and many fleshy scaly leaves. Okay. Where is bulb found and where can you find it? Take an onion, and when you cut the onion into slices, at the base of the onion there is some yellow colored part where roots are coming out. That is the small, very much reduced disc-like structure called the bulb. From that, leaves are arising. Outer leaves are scaly leaves. Inner leaves are thick storage, fleshy leaves. Okay, and with time, scaly leaves are formed more in number. If you are having an onion and that is fresh, it will have less scaly leaves. If you are having, suppose you are keeping the onion for 1 year. Now everybody knows how onion prices are soaring high in the market, 100 rupees per kg. So yeah, you know what onions. Yeah, they are already bringing tears to our eyes. It happens with onions. And what is happening is, the onions, they have multiple layers. If multiple layers are there, more the number of scaly leaves, it means it is older. And if it is fresh, it will have slightly less scaly leaves. 1 or 2 layers only will be there. Upper fleshy, scaly leaves. So if I can draw it, okay. So this is what is happening. This is the stem of bulb. This is the transverse section I'm drawing for you here. Okay. So what are the examples of bulb? This is the disc shape structure, right? This is the stem of bulb. You can say here examples: onion and garlic. Onion and garlic. Allium cepa, Allium sativum. Okay, that is about garlic. Then there is a third modification of stem. I'm just writing it a bit slow for whoever will be watching the videos. Okay, I should go a bit fast because I guess you will do it. Corm. So what is corm? You can say in the best words, it's a sort of condensed rhizome. Okay. We can suppose it as a rhizome, but it is more condensed. But rhizome grows in horizontal direction and corm grows in vertical direction. This is the major difference. Corm is a storage underground stem bearing nodes, internodes and scaly leaves but it grows in upward direction. Grows in upward direction. Example is colocasia. Then the fourth part, rhizome. Sorry, not rhizome, tuber. Fourth underground stem. Tuber. So what is a tuber? Tuber can be described as anterior swollen underground part of stem storing food. Okay. And it is having a, basically there is a skin like structure also over it, and it is covered by some structures called the eyes of potato, something like that. Okay, so let me draw it. These are structures like this here. Eye-like structures. Okay. Yeah, the color combination doesn't sit very well. It's okay. Yeah. So you can, if you are not able to understand this, let me just do a different strategy for this. Let me just draw it with simple colors so you will understand. So this is a potato. Like this. Eye-like structures there. How will you confirm that this is a bud? You will confirm that this is a bud because there is a scaly leaf. When when you go to the market, you get potatoes which have this brown colored membrane-like structure coming over that. That is a scaly leaf. And if this is a scaly leaf, it must have a bud. So the bud is right here. Bud is here, right here. Bud is here, right here. This is a scaly leaf. Let us label it quickly. Eyes of potato. They represent buds, dormant lateral buds. Okay. So let us write this quickly. Each eye represents a node. Each eye represents a node bearing one or more buds. One or more buds bearing one or more buds having a leaf scar or scaly leaves. Okay. Example is Solanum tuberosum, potato. Solanum tuberosum, potato. That is the thing. Alright, let's move on. After tuber, these are all the underground modifications of stem. Now we will do the subaerial modifications of stem. So please put the heading subaerial modifications of stem. Subaerial modifications of stem. So what happens in subaerial modifications? Well, the stem is partly in air and partly underground. So what you can say here is, in subaerial modifications, subaerial modifications stem is partly aerial and partly underground. Partly aerial and partly underground. Okay. So what happens is there are short aerial branches, adventitious roots, developing at nodes also, you can say. What is happening here? Short aerial branches and adventitious roots develop at the nodes. Develop at the nodes. Okay. Then entire branch that can detach from it, like if it has a modification like that, whenever it detaches and establishes somewhere else, it is going to grow into a new plant. So that is the basis of vegetative propagation. Helps in vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation. So there are some modifications here also. We will talk about runner. First of all, runner is very important, and there is a question that is asked: what is the difference between runner and stolen? Okay. So there is a small difference. Stolen is basically seen in the case of strawberry. So strawberry, what happens is the subaerial modification, it touches the ground, then grows upward, forms a curve-like structure, then goes down. Then it goes like this. Then it goes like this. Like this. This is the subaerial modification. Okay. And what is the difference with the runner? The runner grows parallel, straight. No curving. A stolen, like this. So if you have seen, it's wrong to ask a question because of the internet connectivity issues, no centers are online right now. Okay. So whenever you see a strawberry plant, please try to observe it. Strawberry plant gives out a short stolon like this, and it grows upward in a curve-like fashion. It does not touch the soil between these 2 points. That is the beauty of it. Okay. So let's write it down. Runner. First modification is, subaerial modification is runner. It is a creeping stem with long internodes. It represents creeping stem with longer internodes longer internodes, and running horizontally on the soil surface. Running horizontally on the soil surface. Okay. Nodes have axillary buds, scale leaves, and adventitious roots. The nodes bear axillary buds, scale leaves, and adventitious roots. And adventitious roots. And adventitious roots. Runner arises from axillary buds. Arises from axillary buds. The runner arises from axillary buds. And basically, if there is a single runner, it will spread in all directions. That is for sure. Okay. And because they grow quickly into grow into all directions. So if only a single runner survives, suppose there is a forest fire or you cut the plants, it will grow again. So it is very difficult to eliminate runners. Runners spread in all directions from a single plant. All directions from a single plant. Okay, and helping in vegetative propagation. But this also means that they are very, very difficult to remove. For example, if you cut all the grass, it will grow again. You take out all the soil. If even a single runner survives, it will grow again and cover the whole surface of the soil. So once it is growing, it is very difficult to remove. Helping in vegetative propagation. Okay, so that it is there. Example: cynodon-dactylon, agropyron. All these are grasses. Common lawn grass. Common lawn grass. Then there is Centinella asiatica. It's commonly called Brahmi in Hindi. Centinella asiatica. Brahmi. Then there is sucker. Sucker. Well, the definition of sucker is very important. Um, Recently, I planted a banana tree, and what I did was I went to the gardener. I asked him, like, how do you help me in giving me a banana tree? So I know this because I have seen how it grows. So sucker is basically something which takes nutrition from the mother plant, but it is not independent to grow on its own. Unless and until the mother plant is cut off, the suckers cannot grow. Okay, so the structure is something like this. It's a part of stem. It does not have the roots, and when you cut one plant, after that you put it in wet soil and let it grow somewhere else, then it will develop roots suddenly because it has some lot of storage food there also in the stem, the sucker, and then it can grow independently. So basically, it says something like, it looks something like it is deriving nutrition from the mother plant in the form of minerals and water. It takes something like that from the mother plant. Rest of the plant remains short in height. Its growth is suppressed, not completely inhibited. So it grows very slowly like this. And after a very long time, it might break free and it might develop its separate independent existence. You can write this down. It arises from the basal underground part of the main stem. The origin of sucker is from basal underground part of the mother plant or main stem. Okay. It grows horizontally for a distance under the soil. Under the soil, and then emerges obliquely upwards. Obliquely upwards. And then basically, when it is separating from the mother plant, just before that it might develop its own roots. But that is not possible. Like normally we always take the plant before it develops adventitious roots, and when we put it in wet soil, then it will suddenly develop adventitious roots. So Yeah, you can observe this whenever banana plant is growing. You can see the small plants growing nearby. Those are the suckers. Yeah, sucker is a type of abuse also. Yeah, some people, I remember during my classes, somebody remembered, like, yeah, it's an abuse also. So it's a fun way of saying that you're deriving nutrition from somebody else, like you are a parasite or something. Anyway, just don't use this word too much, okay? Nobody likes it. Okay. So this is, suppose, the parent plant, right? Roots are there. Let me draw this with this color. So what will happen is, a small plant will grow from this. This represents sucker, like this. Like this. Okay. So this is sucker. Rest of the part we'll complete next day, in the next class, okay? So I'll leave it here only. Example is banana. So I'll see you guys in the next class. Hopefully this all protest will be over by then. Let's hope for the best. Let's see what happens in the next class, okay? So please revise these notes and let me know if you have any problem with this, okay? So thank you, dear students. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Thank you.